Most famous name found in this entire inscription, which is right down here, the name Israel. It's agreed upon that this says Israel, and this is the earliest mention of the name Israel found outside of the Bible. The inscription of Merneptah dates to around 1210 BC. The inscription describes who Merneptah and his army fought with in Canaan. The translation reads, Canaan is plundered, Ashkelon is conquered, Gezer is seized, Yanoam is made non-existent, Israel is laid waste. Ashkelon, Gezer, and Yanoam are followed by the city-state symbol. These three city-states were ruled by kings. There is no city-state symbol shown for the name Israel. Instead, the symbol for a foreign people is shown. This means that in 1210 BC, Israel is described as a people that has not yet formed into a nation and therefore is without a king. According to biblical chronology, the date 1210 BC falls in the Judges period, where we find in the book of Judges this repeating phrase, in those days, Israel had no king. This is yet another example of the details in the Bible being verified through the details of an inscription dug up through archaeology.
So does the Merneptah Stele prove the Bible? I'm Pete Enns, a biblical scholar, author, college professor, and whatever else I happen to do. So anyway, okay, this is half right. But then it goes into a very bad place indeed. First of all, the Merneptah Stele is not some new piece of evidence that is going to clear everything up for us, but something that has been studied, pondered, discussed since it was discovered in 1896, and people noticed, oh my goodness gracious, it mentions Israel. So this person is absolutely correct that this is Egyptian. It is named the Merneptah Stele. It dates to around 1210, and that it mentions Israel as a non-city-state entity. All that is correct. And I want to say that a reference to Israel from the late 13th century BCE is significant and interesting and well worth studying. However, it is not at all clear that we can take the Merneptah Stele and simply map it onto the Bible to prove the Bible somehow. The fact that this monument says Israel, from a historical point of view, does not in any way mean that it means the same thing that Israel means in the Bible. And that's not a small point, folks. You know, just because the monument says Israel doesn't mean that they're talking about the same thing that the Bible means when it says Israel, when the Bible isn't even written during this point of time in the 13th century. Right? That's a big assumption that's being made there. But more problematic is that this creator ties the Merneptah Stele to the time of the Judges, which he, for some reason, is convinced is right around the same time. Whatever. But you see, the Achilles heel to this conclusion of Egypt's presence in Canaan, is a problem. See, if the Egyptians invaded Canaan, like the Merneptah Stele says, and I think they did invade Canaan, but if the Egyptians invaded Canaan and laid waste to Israel during the time of the Judges, folks, you know where this is going, right? You'd think that the Bible would at least give some nod in that direction. But the Bible is silent on any Egyptian presence in the land of Canaan during the time of, well, any time after the Exodus. See, ironically, the Merneptah Stele is not evidence of the Bible's historical accuracy, but it's actually evidence of exactly the opposite. Let me say again, the Merneptah Stele is significant, but the nature of its significance is more complex and actually more meaningful than simply slapping this story onto a biblical story. That is a very bad assessment of the evidence.